up, everybody? It's Jamie, your host of One Blast Podcast for the Last. And y'all already know who the last is, right? The last of the dying breed. So we are bringing y'all back to life per usual. Mark chapter 10, verse 31. Many who are first will be last, but the last will be first. Okay? Yes, we will. Period. So, thank you for joining me. If this is your first time here, the purpose of this podcast is to navigate through the journey of change when transitioning into a new calling that God has for us. And whether you know what that calling is or if you are still exploring, let's release that fearfulness and what? Increase that faithfulness. Yes. Now, before we get started, I'm going to ask y'all to do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe from wherever you're listening to, whether it's YouTube or Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. There's a couple of other ones. Wherever you're listening from, please hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and check that notification bell too so you don't miss any new episodes. And also, why don't you go ahead and like this video and share it with a friend for your girl? All right, so what are we blasting today? Actually, it's a who. So I had an opportunity to sit down with Kia Harris Tuckerton, who is the founder of two different nonprofit organizations for women of power and Dare Humanity. It was such an empowering video, an empowering interview. And I'm so blessed that I had the opportunity to be able to sit down with her. So why don't you go ahead and get ready for this one. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. I know I like me a good song quote. Let's get into this interview. Good evening, Kia. Thank you so much for joining me here this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. So, why don't we start by letting you introduce yourself and what For Women of Power is all about?
Sure. So I'm Kiara Sakran, and I am a nonprofit strategist and educator. But then I also have two nonprofits. One of them is For Women of Power, and then the other is Dare Humanity that does international work. Also, a business owner that serves nonprofits. So can't talk about For Women of Power without telling you about the brand Women of Power.
Right.
And so Women of Power is a brand and a movement that is all about edifying women to walk in their power and authority. And so from that, a branch has been created, and the branch is the nonprofit that started end of last year, and we now serve women, and that is what the goal is, to serve women in areas of providing financial assistance, and then also supporting them with classes and trainings to help them in their journey on conquering their mountains.
Oh, that's so much meat and potatoes in there. So, what for you? What was like the indication that those services were necessary in the community?
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't do what I did with my first organization, Dare Humanity. What we did was we did a survey and we gave it out to isolated communities in Haiti and then framed our
Wow.
work around that. So I didn't do that approach with this nonprofit. What I did do was obey God when He said to start it. I was a bit back and forth with it, and I was like, another nonprofit, really? And I was telling a few select people about the idea, and they were encouraging me. And then I remember recently that I had looked at something I wrote in 2015, and I was saying, oh, and multiple nonprofits, and I just laughed when I looked at it because I was prophesying to my life and not even
Right.
realizing it. So
Yeah.
it was more about, I know that women need assistance, and so how can we be of assistance, even in the community that has different resources? We can at least play our part in that assistance for women.
Right. And I know there seems to be a higher poverty rate of women than there is men in the US. So do you know, or can you, I don't know, try to guesstimate or estimate What do you think is the cause behind that, as far as there being a higher poverty level of women?
Well, I know that my mother was a single mom, but our dad was still in our lives. And so she did a lot on her own with us, but then he supported. But I know that there are some women that don't have the support of the father of the children.
Yeah.
And so we serve mothers and we have Moms Empowered, and that's online connecting once a month. And then, of course, the moms that come from that can also get the support for their families as well. I don't know a lot of stats about women, but what I do know is that there are women in need, and that's clear because of the outcome of the application that we released. That, of course, there's women that need help. And it may be that there's women who are married and they still need help. I feel like everyone at some point in their lives has different periods of time when they need assistance. And so that's what we want to do, just be a helping hand.
Right. Yeah, I know that I see so often now where a lot of women are the head of their household, and that could be whether they're a single mother, or even, even some families that, they're married and they do have a father in the home. A lot of times women are still the head of the household, and I think it kind of can weigh on women, especially when we have this persona, that we can do it all. And I think a lot of people, they see, particularly, I would say particularly Black women, that we can kind of do anything and everything. And, we don't really like to ask for help. So as far as reaching out to women in the community that need help, what type of services do you guys offer for them?
Yeah, so we provide financial assistance through the Hand Up program, and the program is to have that temporary support that's provided, but not make it so it's common for them to come back and get the support, which is why
Mhm.
we coupled it with classes and training. So next week, for example, we're going to have a class on budgeting because our hope is to get women to this level of financial freedom and stewardship and managing their finances well. And so we want to make sure that there are opportunities for them to grow. And then we can help in that growth process in the beginning, but eventually we would want to see those women elevate to the next level. So those are the two programs that we have for now. The Hand Up program that provides financial assistance with groceries and bills, small bills, and
Mhm.
basic needs, gas for your car. And then we have trainings that we have every so often, once a month, every couple months.
Oh, I love the idea of offering training to the women, who, are in need of these things, so that they're able to become self-sufficient and kind of, grow through a learning curve, and get on the road to not being able to need that assistance. Is there like a particular time frame that you have that you would want women to, like, everybody's different, of course, but ideally, if a woman came to you and said, "Yes, I need assistance, I'll take the classes." What is the time frame, or what is are there steps involved for them, to help them along that learning curve?
Yeah, I think that we are still we're still developing things, and so our process is getting the classes they needed or needing right now, finances, faith, and then lifestyle classes, and then moving them into a space that's probably been already created by someone else where they go through a series of courses that they can take to get them to that level. So
Oh, yeah.
we're not sure what that looks like yet, but our goal is to start to build out this system that allows them to get the trainings, even if they're in the past that we have from live speakers, but then also get trainings from those who have gone ahead and created things for the benefit of individuals to help with their finances and more.
Yes, and I love the fact that you're still developing. It kind of reminds me of that movie. Oh goodness, this movie. I think it's was it. I don't remember what it's called, but the movie about Facebook and how it was built. Is it The Social Network? I think it's called. But towards the end, he's like, "When's it going to be done?" And he's like, "It's never going to be done because it's continuously being built upon." And so, when you think about that, do you have like an end vision for what you are in the midst of creating?
Yeah, I think it's something that bigger than what I think it is right now. I think it's something that is going to do more for women that are in their journeys, whatever journey they're or part of their journey that they're in, it allows them to transition into the next one. And so that's why we have such great women leaders behind the organization so they
Mm,
can pour in their skills and their experience to help develop this organization. I'm not sure where we're going, but I do know that we will be successful because of our backing, which
yeah.
is Yahweh. So we are just looking forward to the growth that's coming and being able to serve and being able to grow and partner with individuals who would be interested.
Yeah. So, as far as your first step into creating this, can you kind of give me a little bit of background as to where you were before you started this particular journey? And when God laid this all out to you, how it felt, and like, was it overwhelming? Did you, kind of doubt yourself a little bit? Or what did that journey look like for you personally?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier, how I react to transitions. So usually I take a pause and I reflect. So let's say the idea did come, how are we going to run another nonprofit? And so I will internalize and reflect on those different thoughts that come. And then I will get reminders where God will say, I told you to do the thing, so just do
Mhm.
it. And so the doubt will try to come in and it still tries to come in. And I just have to have the mental resilience to say, I'm not going to accept this. If I have the backing of Yahweh, why would I doubt that it will be successful? In fact, I'm called to be an ambassador, which means the things that I put my hands to, that He has designed me to put my hands to and it's aligned with Him, why wouldn't it be successful? And of course, it takes time. And in that time, I'm going to grow and learn and develop. So it's going to be a good thing. And it's not that it has to be something that jumps off quickly. It is going to jump off quickly when God has it to do it. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it does. Like I always say that this podcast for me is something that God gifted me, but it is just a journey. I don't know exactly what's going to be next. I don't know, who's going to be on here with me. I just know that I heard a word to go ahead and start it. And I'm just kind of, going with the flow of it. And I think that is the beauty in being able to trust God when you have an assignment on your life, and when you are starting in and putting your first step down into your new journey. And like you said, that doubt always comes, but it's up to us to have that resilience to be able to be like, no, I'm moving these negative thoughts out of here and replacing them with the faith and the positivity that it takes to go ahead and put your first foot forward, your second foot behind that one, and just keep on keeping on. Let's see. So originally, I know you said you did have another nonprofit. So can you explain to me about that? Do you work hand in hand? I mean, of course, I would assume you do because you're running both, but do they ever intertwine with each other, and like at what level do they intertwine?
Yeah, not as today, they don't. Dairy Humanity has international work. So our first country that we're in is Haiti. So they haven't intertwined. It was interesting because I was at some point trying to create something for Dare Humanity to do in California. And
Mm,
then realizing, okay, so maybe it's not that this organization will do things in California. It may be that this is just designed for international work. And then for Women of Power would be designed for local California and Texas things. So the process of starting Dare Humanity was me having in mind that there's going to be an incubation period. So I might as well start the nonprofit now. So it was
Yeah.
founded in 2015. And I remember saying, well, by 2020, this will have established something. We would be doing some kind of work and have our name somehow represented. And so a lot of things were divinely orchestrated for the establishment of Dare Humanity. I met my husband on my way back from
Oh,
Haiti
wow.
to he was going to Texas and I was coming back to California. So I met him. And then a series of things that allowed me to create more mental resilience along the way because of the things I encountered while serving. And so there have been quite a bit of challenges, but I am just sticking with what we said we're going to do and continue to do, which is serve underserved children and families in
Mhm.
Haiti for now and other countries in the future. So I just make sure that I am sticking to what God told me to do and trusting that He's going to provide in every way, and also decreeing things for the organizations to make sure that they are going to produce based on my agreement that they're going to produce. And my agreement is by saying the decrees and making declarations.
Yes. So I know, it's easier said than done sometimes for a lot of people when God gives you an assignment and we're just like, let's just go for it. I'm going to do it. And even when that doubt comes in, I'm going to shoo it away. But at what point in your spiritual journey did you finally, if you remember, where you said, I am going to move this doubt out? Because sometimes it's like I said, easier said than done, where you're like, I'm going to do it. But then that doubt just kind of reaches in, and it's hard to remove for some people if you're not at a particular point, or have a strong enough relationship with God. So as far as your relationship with God goes, how or when I should which when did that develop to a point where your faith just overcame any doubt for you?
Well, it's a process. I wouldn't say that my doubt is completely gone. I think that I now work in a space that says when you feel the doubt coming in, you need to eliminate it as soon as possible. I find that
Mhm.
if I allow the doubt or any negative thought to dwell too long, then it starts to stick. And so I'm trying to make
Yeah.
sure, I am making sure that it's not going to stick. And it's actually a process that God has been taking me on recently with inner healing and deliverance, is that I have to trust what He said about me, whether it's directly He spoke to me, whether it's through prophetic words from trusted individuals, whether it's from the promises that we see in the Bible, that I need to make sure that I am going through with this process and understanding and believing what has been said about me. And if I
Yeah.
don't believe it, then that means, of course, it's not going to happen. So I had to create mental resilience as I went. For Dare Humanity, serving has not always been as simple as one would think. So we sponsor kids in Haiti, and you would think, okay, paying for the kids is simple, but it was a challenge that people wouldn't want to cooperate. The parents weren't understanding the importance of their students being sponsored. So a lot of things that came in, but realizing, okay, although we're serving individuals, we can put boundaries in place and we can say no. And it's okay to say no, but I do extend grace. So we extend grace and say, well, this is why we're doing what we're doing. This is why we're asking for this information. But at some point, it has to be that we have to step away. And I remember having a thought when certain things were going on. I was like, I wonder if this is how God feels, because I feel like He is
Mhm.
shifting the funding to this other individual because they are showing that they are going to be respectful and they're going to
Right.
cooperate and they are honoring the funds that they're receiving. So a lot has been transferring, starting the organization, even with the trip to start our work there. I remember hearing Capernaum in the hotel room.
Mm.
And I had heard of it, but I think I forgot about the term and I looked it up and then realized that Capernaum is the first city that Jesus had his ministry in. And so
Wow.
Haiti is my Capernaum. So it has been amazing work, and the fact that we have gotten much support from individuals we don't even know, and then the support of leadership has truly been a blessing.
Oh, yes. That's such a blessing to, have that gifting from God and then having others, be able to back you up with that. I think it's just amazing the work that you have put in both internationally and here in California. And well, first, let me just say thank you for all the work that you are doing and will continue to do. I
Thank you.
know it is definitely a difference, and I always like to mention this, that there's a difference between knowing God and worshiping God and actually surrendering to God. And I think that for me, personally, that's kind of when I was able to push through my doubt. And, even for me today, if I'm working on a project and I'm kind of sitting in myself, I'll say, just hanging out with myself and my thoughts are just swirling, I have to immediately get myself up and try to do something to push my goal. Otherwise, that's when my personal doubt will set in. If I'm sitting, my doubt is sitting with me. So I know that it's time. Okay, let me get up. Let me work on something. Let me keep pushing. And I feel like it helps me a lot when when I do that. And I know it's in my mind. I tell myself, whether this gets to one person or 100,000 people, either way, was the assignment, and this is the execution. So I think I just want to thank you again for joining me. And can you tell us how we can find for Women of Power and your other organization?
Yeah, thank you for having me. We, we can be found on For Women of Power G at Instagram. So we're on Instagram for now. So For Women of Power, and then the international organization Dare Humanity is just that on Instagram as well. We have a website for Dare Humanity as well. And so, yeah, love for individuals to connect and just see what we're about and what we're doing. And if you're a woman in need, then you can apply for the Hand Up program. Or if you want to join the Moms Empowered group, one Saturday a month, you can join there too. Just finding ways to connect with women. I think it's really important for us to stay connected and talk about the reality of life and the things that we experience. So happy to connect with those individuals.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Kia, for joining me. And I am glad to have you here. I hope we can have you back again. Maybe when you're doing some, if you have any events or anything like that coming up, then we would love to come out and just be a part of that with you. But thank you so much again for joining me here. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
I am a firm believer that one of the most fulfilling things you can do is serve your community. I have had the opportunity to work with youth during a fashion show where I was able to help train them in their runway skills, also help them just build confidence. And it was such a rewarding experience for me. Also, like I said in previous episodes, I do hair. And so that is the service. And just seeing the expression and happiness and joy on someone's face after they have been slayed, okay, it is rewarding. As well as just serving your family, serving your children, serving your spouse, your mother, your father. There's so many people around you who you can serve. And it doesn't have to be international, it doesn't have to be citywide. It can start right inside of your home, it can start right inside of your family and with your relatives, with your neighborhood, with your kids' friends. It's just a rewarding feeling. So I invite you, if you feel that you have a calling on your life to serve, get up and start somewhere. Might as well, Craig. I don't see a reason why not. Matthew chapter 23, verse 11 says, "The greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So, with that, I'm going to end this episode of One Blast, the podcast for the last of a dying breed who we bringing back to life, baby. So, once you start bringing some people back to life, go ahead and serve them up. Find what skill you have. Start with something simple. Don't make it difficult. Okay, it could be something as simple as baking a peanut butter cookie. Okay, buying a pack of water and giving it out. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But serve the people around you the best way you can. And that's it for me today, guys. Bye.
To get more information on programs offered by For Women of Power and Dare Humanity, check the information on the description below and visit them on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new episodes.